I ground my teeth for so many years. The backs of all my front teeth were like worn through, so I had to get a bunch of shit in there.
What were they wearing?
Oh, girl, here it comes. Gonna shoot some caramel out my thumbs.
Everybody, where is Ryan? We need someone.
No,
to
you didn't have to do that. I was just gonna pop in and be like, "Here we are, number."
I mean, you didn't even let me finish the intro. You just popped in.
Burger King foot lettuce.
I was gonna build it up, but you just came in. But okay, sure. Just what's
I
your
wasn't
number
playing
5?
hide and seek. No, go ahead and do the intro.
No, just do it. What's number 5? I'm done.
My number 5 is Dark Souls 3.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, I know. I'm a big fan of them Dark Souls games. I put a shitload of time into this one. I think I actually still have put more time into Dark Souls 3 than I put into my favorite one, Dark Souls 1. I think it does a good job of wrapping shit up. I like both DLCs. They're not the greatest, but I still like both of them quite a bit. Game still looks amazing. It's really fun to play. Really cool. It just kind of recaptures a lot of the mystery and all the stuff I like to talk about when I'm playing a Dark Souls game.
I really liked when Dark Souls 3 came out because it was at the point where we had all, as a group, invested into Dark Souls. So that was the one that dropped, and we all got to play it at the same time and just like swap stories, swap strategies, swap secrets, all sorts of stuff.
And me and Jason got to hang out in another room.
Like, I think we had a Dark Souls chat even for Dark Souls 3.
And Ryan and I had the free Google Fiber, and it did not recognize.
Yeah, you guys just couldn't play multiplayer.
So we had to do it solo.
We also couldn't get invaded or anything. We couldn't do anything online. It was really frustrating because it would also take a really long time to boot up because it'd be like trying to find your calibrations.
Yeah, authenticating.
Yeah,
for like 5 minutes.
There was like 2 weeks that I just straight up couldn't play the game because it couldn't find my calibrations or my authentication or whatever.
Wild.
But once it got working, I played that game. I've played it through multiple times now with multiple people. I'd play it through again. It feels really good to play. Yeah, good ass game.
There was a point where some guy came into GameStop and was complaining to me about Nameless King and how it's so hard with 2 other people. I was like, yeah, bitch, try it solo.
You said that to a customer, and then I had to reprimand him. Wait, Hunter, you told him a bitch?
I called him the B word.
Oh, shit. Yeah, Dark Souls 3 is... It doesn't... As much as Dark Souls 1 is my favorite of all of the Souls games, Dark Souls 3 does a lot of things that are more fun, I think is maybe the way to describe it. Like, they do a lot of gameplay things that are just fun.
Does it kill you the second the game loads after you walk through a door?
Yeah.
No. Fuck.
Kills you.
Ryan, we're not aligned on that one.
Depends on what door you're walking through.
A sword that shoots lasers.
Dark Souls 1 kills you as soon as the game loads, so then you can't play it anymore.
That's only one of the bosses.
Just use this.
It wasn't even a boss.
It's just Jason being bad.
No.
Yeah,
no,
good.
Real life is the hardest Dark Souls boss.
I went through one of those glowing doorways, and the second the game loaded, I died.
I remember back when Dark Souls 1 first came out, and people started spamming the Get Good thing. And then there was a picture of some screen caps from Arthur where his sister was asking him how you get a square balloon. The lady said, blow square breaths.
And that's how you get good at Dark Souls. You gotta blow those square breaths.
Square breaths. It does a thing that I wish they both did more in the game and then continued doing hope they continue doing other Dark Souls things where they had a couple bosses that didn't have a fog gate in front of it. You just like walked into a room and all of a sudden it's like, whoop, I'm a boss fight now. Like, what was it? Crystal Wizard
Guardians?
Dudes. Well,
yeah,
I mean,
Wizard
to be
Dudes.
fair, you could kind of tell it was a boss area just with how it was set up.
That's true, but you still got to walk through a door and have a thing happen. And I liked that. Dash, what's your number 5? Stop
My
staring
number
at me.
5 is
make out.
I talk about a particular franchise of games with an incredible amount of very deserved reverence, as I think the idea of a perfect game is
No, Dark
Defi-
Souls 3.
definitely something that exists, but very, 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 very few games I think truly are perfect. But then to take that perfect game and make the best ever iteration of it
You're
gets
talking
you
about
to
Mario.
gets you to my number 5, and
I
it
think
is
he's
Tetris
talking
Effect.
about,
No.
It's
Well,
Tetris
It's
Effect.
coming up.
Let me
Good
know when
game.
it's my
Number
turn.
5.
It's like I love Tetris, definitely more than most, but I also have a great deal of respect for Tetris, and it's one of those things where before it was Tetris DS, where if I'm gonna play Tetris, I'm gonna play this version of Tetris.
Oh yeah.
But now that Tetris Effect exists, if I'm going to play Tetris, I'm gonna play this version of Tetris. The only thing I could maybe knock against it that would give Tetris DS an edge is Tetris DS is portable, but
Tetris DS also doesn't have distracting rumbling.
it's not like that on PlayStation. That really sucks about the Xbox One, but I totally noticed it also. Like
I like Tetris Effect now that it's finally out on Xbox and I can play it and it's not just a PS4 exclusive anymore. Like doing
well,
that journey
it hasn't
mode.
been a PS4 exclusive for a very long time. It just came to Xbox almost last.
Yeah, true. But now that it's finally out on Xbox and it's not a PS4 exclusive anymore, I can enjoy it because I've been wanting to play it for a while. Because I'm with you. I know we make fun of you for loving Tetris so much, but I do think Tetris might just be the best game.
Yeah, like it is a universal language where anyone can pick up and play Tetris. It is easy to understand. It has an incredibly like varied skill floor and skill ceiling. It is something I find it fundamentally interesting to watch people play Tetris, where it's like I remember like Danny came over shortly after Tetris Effect came out, and I was just watching him play. And Danny was pretty decent at Tetris, and just watching him, how does he build his well, and just like how do you play Tetris? It is something I just find fascinating. I think it might be the best designed game, best made game ever, and there's just a purity to it that I
Objectively?
think. What?
Is it
Objectively, yeah.
the best game ever.
Probably. Like again, I don't think that there
Can't
are
have that
very
argument
many.
again.
I
Why
would
is it
even
only number 5 then?
because there's a difference between greatest and a game that's perfect. I think that like within the rule set of Tetris, if you were to add anything or take anything away, it wouldn't be as good. And ultimately, all Tetris Effect is a nice like set dressing for it. Like it's still the same fucking game, but it looks and sounds super fucking phenomenal. And
You get
that
cool
little bit of
music, you get cool themes.
that polish on it is what I think again sets it over the edge for Tetris DS for me. It's like sure it's not portable, I guess, until they put it on Switch, which I honestly think is an inevitability at this point.
And then if they add Nintendo themes to some of their levels, then it's better than
Then I would maybe give that
DS.
specific iteration of Tetris Effect to be like the best version of the best Tetris game. But
And then you can
it's-
put it in the Labo VR set and you're done.
As a Tetris casual, Tetris Effect is really good.
it's
very fun.
just fucking great. And
It's I mean, just adding the cool soundtrack to it is enjoyable. I do think some of the themes are horrible.
yeah, and
Like I don't want fucking I can't remember if it's like windmill things or like
Oh, it's
Cowboy
Feel Good
Boots
Inc.
Spurs.
see, I don't like the background or like the the block design on windmills, but I love
Yeah.
that it's the percussion level. I think that's super
See, yeah,
cool.
yeah. I think the music was good on every. I've barely even touched it, but I think the music was good on every portion I played through. But there were one or two sections where the block design made it extremely difficult for me.
Yeah,
More than Tetris is already hard for me to play.
the other
I'm not good at Tetris at all.
the game that this is kind of like modeled after Lumines has that exact same issue where like some of the tile sets they do in it just break my brain and I can no longer play that game for some reason.
I'm like that with Medios on some of the Medios.
Yeah, it's
things.
exactly the same thing where it's like if you display these in just a certain way, I can't put it together anymore.
It's like when you play Bop It with the sounds only.
Yeah. But yeah,
I'm trying to
Tetris
make
Effect
this as
is-
relatable as possible, and I don't know if you can get more relatable than Tetris.
Yeah, Tetris is perfect. And this is the best version of Tetris.
Yeah, it
And
already fucks me up taking away the colors, but making the blocks not block shape fuck me up.
you can do a setting in it that makes all of them the standard like Tetris block colors and stuff
but
like
I
that.
don't want
But
that.
it's
It
I feel like
it
at that
takes you
point it's
out
like why
of
are you
it.
playing Tetris
Yeah.
Effect? Like play
Because it's the best
regular
version of Tetris.
like Tetris DS if the shit fucks you up that much.
Yeah, but no, yeah, I like the themes enough to play through the ones that are hard more than I don't want to switch it to just regular blocks because I
Yeah.
like the theme shifting.
And it's like I think that Puyo Puyo Tetris is like a cool weird thing to exist, but it ain't Tetris Effect, and it will never be Tetris Effect. I struggle to think if I am excited for them to someday make a cooler Tetris game. Even like Tetris 99, the other Tetris game of this last generation, I think that game is a cool weird side thing, but it's not. It ain't Tetris Effect.
Being a battle
Few games are.
royales.
But Matt, I will pass it off to you for your number 5. You're muted, buddy. Still muted.
My number 5 is it's Control. We beat it to death already. It's a fantastic.
I like
game.
Control.
Yeah,
Control's
That was
good.
Great. Jesse's a great character. The service
We're not
weapon
done
is
talking
dope as
about it.
shit.
It's coming up one more time at least.
So, yeah, Control's number 5.
I think Control is this generation's PlayStation 2-ass game.
Yeah, like I have an incredible amount of reverence for that game, and I really like it. But it's not emblematic of the generation because it feels like a game out of time. Like it feels like that game shouldn't exist when it does. Like it's like they polished out this prototype lost PS2 game.
It
It's
really
cool
is
as
the
hell.
cookies
It's
and
good
cream of this generation.
Yeah, it's an HD remake of a game that didn't come out on the PS2.
It's one of the best keys on the keyboard.
Yeah,
Oh, you talking about Katarl?
It's got good crouch.
Paul
feel.
Carl?
Jason, what is your number 5?
My number 5, I really don't have a
Control.
lot to say about it. It's just very good, and it's a game that I like very frequently will pick up and play for 20 minutes. It's Ape Out. It doesn't do a whole. It doesn't do many things, but it doesn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, like it is. I think that a good just arcadey ass game is really,
Yeah.
really it's welcome.
There aren't many games now, to me at least, that I can go pick up, play it for 10 minutes, and like get from point A to point B and accomplish something, and like be at like a breaking point.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of good kind of get in, get out stuff. Like
Mhm.
even a lot of like roguelikes and
Ape
stuff,
in,
which
ape
is
out stuff.
yeah, kind of what I would expect those to be. They're starting to get longer as well. Like I know Dash asked me to play like Risk of Rain every so often.
Yeah, and it's like Risk of
well,
Rain is
I
an
gotta
hour
go to
an
bed in
hour
an
and a
hour.
half.
Yeah, it's
Like-
like I gotta go to bed in an hour. I don't want to. Oh.
I didn't
And
get half of one game done.
I agree that is a negative point across like an ideal roguelike should take 15 minutes to beat.
Yeah,
I mean this in a really positive way. Ape Out has good mobile game feel, but like it's like that game it has like a phone game spirit in it. But I mean that in a very positive way, where it's something that you could just like. I almost wish it was a phone game because you could just like
It's
bust
good.
it out, do a run, and
I mean the Switch
Yeah.
is portable.
yeah.
Since when?
I mean mine's not. But
Since the
I
Switch
think-
Lite came out.
Dash glued his to the dock.
yeah, I just don't like playing that thing
Glued it.
portable. Can't get a good grip on the fucking Joy-Cons.
It's
You
the
cry.
Joy-Cons are somehow too small for my hands.
That's impossible.
They're microscopic.
Yeah.
John, what is your number 5? Does it involve apes? Do they go anywhere?
Well, no. I am not someone who's played a ton of walking simulators. I'm trying to more because in general I end up liking them, or I feel like they usually try something interesting. The one that I did play that stood out to me, What Remains of Edith Finch. I've talked about it enough in the previous episodes. I think I've pointed out all the non-spoiler things I can say about it that really make it work, but it's it's a series of amazing visual fantasies that it's really sad. It's really good looking, and it's a great game.
Really good game.
Low on gameplay.
Lot like Beginner's Guide. It's one of those it's a walking simulator I would recommend to Jason. Like it's a walking simulator for people who don't like those kinds of games because it is that good. Like even if you hate this entire genre, at least check these out.
Mhm.
Yeah, before like you officially write it off, just like check these ones out. It'll
That
take
and like Stanley Parable's another one.
yeah, but Stanley Parables like that'll take like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
This week I bought Stanley Parable, Gone Home, and Beginner's Guide. I'm working through them in reverse order of how much I'm excited for them. Not excited for Stanley Parable, didn't love it. Not excited for Gone Home, haven't started it yet. Excited for Beginner's Guide. That'll be the last one I play of this batch.
You said you didn't love Stanley Parable?
Thought it was fine.
Did you only play through it once?
Did you
I
do
played it.
everything that it told you to do?
I I just
I just followed instructions for
leave.
like 15 minutes. It was fine.
No, I did a couple different endings. So I played it till I felt tired of it.
Gotcha.
I think Stanley Parable is like one of those games that I'm more just I don't particularly love Stanley Parable, but I'm glad it exists.
It feels very of its time, and it's in that brand of cleverness.
Yeah.
It feels very 2013, maybe.
That no
Something like
way
that.
is it that old.
No, it's older than that. The version
fucking-
you played,
The
version you
source
played is
one
the
is
HD
2011,
remake.
I think.
Oh shit! Fuck.
That game's been around for a really
old
long
man.
time.
Fuck. Well, Hunter, stop making me feel like an old man. What's your number 5?
Sorry, I was looking up Stanley Parable.
Looking up
Yeah,
titties.
It is 2011.
Damn.
William Pugh wrote it.
Yeah.
Your dad?
Will I am Pew.
Oh my god!
There's a Bill Pugh in my family, but his legal name is Billy.
I gotta say, the picture of William Pugh
That is the most redneck thing I've ever fucking heard.
the picture of William Pugh on his Wikipedia page makes him look like the most obnoxious person on the face of the planet.
Let me see. Oh God, yeah.
Well, now I gotta look.
Wait, who?
Uh,
William Pugh?
Yeah,
My number 5.
Oh, he's great.
Is
but this picture is terrible.
Ooh,
I
yeah,
mean, that's the
not,
point.
yeah,
that's-
it's a pretty bad picture.
Let me see. Well, I think it's probably purposeful if I know anything about crows.
It doesn't look purposeful enough, though.
Well,
It
I
looks.
also like that his age is listed as 25 or 26.
No, it's -1. He hasn't been born.
We just
Wrap
don't
it up.
know.
Wrap
Is
it
it
up.
the one
That's
where
buddy.
he's winking and pointing?
Yeah.
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 Okay, that one's not bad.
I mean, he's not really winking though.
There's
It looks
something about like
It's a
that
small
look, and
picture
then
on my screen.
this is the other one that drives me up the fucking wall. Like,
God, I haven't seen that in a long time.
oh really?
Yeah.
Did you not look at the 30 under 30 list? Because like fucking 6 people do it.
Oh my god.
Which one? Do it again. Oh.
Yeah,
Like
but they awarded all
gamers
of the,
love this one.
They awarded
Like,
all of the 30 under 30 to the nostalgia critics. So
When I went to PAX, like 3 different people had that as their like picture for the Omega Knots thing.
Welcome to the William Pugh cast.
God, just
And
fucking
Dash
hate
is
it.
there doing this one.
No, I was doing this one as I held a stack of Oreo.
Hold the stack of Oreo. I get it. My head's in
Oh yeah, like
Oreo.
okay. Hunter, what are we talking about? What's your number 5? Where are we?
My number 5 was Shin Megami Tensei 4 Final.
It's
But we got
finally over.
distracted- Yeah, we got distracted by William Pugh. But
Did you
Megami
not?
Tensei's MySpace profile pictures this one too.
it's a good game. It's got a great soundtrack. I don't think anyone here would ever actually play it because of the gameplay.
Hey, I'm playing
Hey,
a
I
JRPG right
played-
now.
I played almost half of Shin Megami Tensei 4.
I don't think you played almost half of that game.
Sure, I did.
That game's title's too long for me to play it.
Oh, Jason.
Oh,
there's
Jason, you don't know
there
the
are
half
way-
of it.
There are way longer titles than that.
Hunter, say the long one. Say it again.
It's Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army. PS2 game.
the
And then
title
it's-
takes 40 hours.
The
I was gonna say.
The Shin
title might be
Megami
longer than-
Tensei.
the title might be longer than all of the titles of my top 10.
Yeah, the sequel is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner Raido Kuzunoha 2 versus King Abaddon.
Eh.
But yeah, it's got Smith 4 Finals got a great soundtrack. They went a little heavier on the story bits, which some people didn't like because they was very anime tropey. But it
In
does
that
have
anime
really,
game?
yeah, but Smith in
I want an
general
anime
is
trophy.
usually kind of light on its story, and
Mhm.
especially compared to like Persona and whatnot, where most of the time it's like, hey, here's a group of friends. Oh, something bad happens. Now you got to team up with demons and shit. And then later on, it's like, oh, your friends are different alignments, so now you got to kill them.
Hell yeah, dog.
I didn't realize how old that franchise was. So I was
Yeah,
like reading the Wikipedia page after you mentioned it one of these weeks.
Been a
I
lot of
was
Smith.
shocked. And apparently Mitt too. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, the very first game was based on a book.
That's weird. I don't like that.
How big is the Megami Tensei literary universe?
Dead Space was also
Is
Is
based on
R.A.
a book.
Salvatore writing those now?
I think there's like 3
His
or
name's
4
R.L.
books.
Stein.
You put some respect on his name.
My favorite Megami Tensei game is the Scarecrow Stalks at
Shin
midnight.
Megami Goosebumps.
I prefer the laboratories of Dr. Eek.
Ryan, what's your Shin Megami
Yeah, let's
Tensei
stop
4
dogging
game
on
of the year?
Hunter's weeb shit that I know he loves and I'm sure is fine, but he will never get support the way I'll never get Tetris support.
Listen
I
to the
like that Hunter
soundtrack.
will always, as he said for shilling, was it Dragon's Dogma that you were shilling? Or
Dragon's Dogma,
Dark
Undertale.
Arisen.
No,
I've
don't get
shelled
me
many
wrong. I
things.
love that Hunter plays these games that none of the rest of us do because I need a pulse on that corner of things because Lord knows I'm not going to fucking do it. Like, I love that he does this so I don't have to. I'll play Persona. That's the best you're getting out of me.
Persona.
Ryan, what's your number 4? 4.
I think we're on 4. We're
Yeah,
on Shin
it's-
Megami Tensei 4. And it's finally the beginner's guide. I'm a big fan of them walking simulator things. This one is by far my favorite one. Not even of this generation, just ever. It's good shit. It stuck with me for a really long time, and I recommend this to a lot of people. Like, this one's always in the back of my mind, even for people who don't really like play video games. It's kind of just like, if I can
It's not a
convince
video
someone
game.
to play this. Yeah, exactly.
If you have opinions about art, it is all applicable the same way.
damn,
Yeah.
not for me then.
I really need to get somebody who doesn't play video games to play through this. That's kind of like my next goal is like, this is the game I'm trying to get just everybody to play.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can get Colette's opinions on it.
Kids
I would
need
love
to
that.
play it.
Yeah. It is good shit. I want to get Jason's opinion on it. He hasn't played
I would
video
love
games.
Jason's opinion on it also.
It's on sale right now.
Is it $0?
It's pretty
Pretty
close.
close.
How much is it?
I think it's 5.
So. Oh, it's not on sale anymore. It's
Yeah, I
back
was gonna
up.
say I will fucking gift him a copy right now.
It's back up to $10.
Oof,
Oof, that's steep.
$10.
No, it's not.
No, it's
Steep
not
is-
steep. It's beginner's guide.
You're right.
Okay, good job,
you're right.
everyone. Good job. I sync up on that one.
God, the how fast we talk, we're all trying to get to it first.
No, it's not.
The like economy
too
of
slow.
the group me ruined us.
I had to catch Matt off guard while he plays Smash in his lap.
That's what I'm doing.
Yeah, we know. We've seen you play Magic
Just
also.
smashing something in his lap.
Maybe he's playing a good character like Steve.
That's the only character in that game.
And how is Steve
Even
getting
sans
received?
Undertale.
Just a quick
I mean,
detour.
I think he's a good time. I think he's fun to play.
Okay.
Does
I
Hero
wouldn't-
Brian show up?
Yes.
He's the
Good.
final Smash.
They don't have Herobrine as an alt. I guess that would probably look too similar to Steve.
Yeah. No. No, they have 3 Steve costumes, 3 Alex costumes, a zombie, and an Enderman.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
More like a man-letter man.
More like a Slender Man.
My
Slender
number
Man. I hardly know her, man.
My number 4 game is maybe the highest ranking game on here that is it gets this spot because of personal affection. Like, it's definitely not like one of the greats like I feel like kind of a lot of these others are.
Mine
won't-
especially.
It isn't gonna make like a game you must play if you are like serious about this medium, but it is my 3rd favorite game ever made. So Yakuza 0 gets a fucking spot on this list.
Still haven't played it.
I know. I
But
know.
I'd like to.
I know.
Someday.
Everyone would like these games if they played them.
That's what somebody told me about Nier.
Look, man, you're still wrong on that one.
Yakuza 0 is the best.
Take it up with Matt.
The best 1980s Japanese real estate simulator I've ever played.
This is a game that I was always like loosely aware of just by virtue of like working at GameStop and stuff. And it was my understanding it's like, oh yeah, it's Japanese Grand Theft Auto. And the amount that is such a shitty way to describe this entire franchise.
Japanese walking or sleeping dogs.
It's not even quite that. Like it's its own thing. It's a brawler. Like it's a fucking it's really JRPG except the combat's brawlers, except the new one's JRPG. And I remember like Hunter
But the
picked
story's
it up.
brawlers.
The story's anime. Like Hunter picked it up, and he was just kind of like sending the group chat like funny shit about it, and
Like
it got to
Miracle
the,
Johnson.
like Miracle Johnson, and Steven Spines, and
His
just
name's
all-
Steven Spinning.
Steven Spinning. That's what it is.
What's that a joke off of?
It's Steven Spielberg.
Uh,
It's aggressively Steven Spielberg.
I like Miracle Johnson way more.
Miracle Johnson rules. He's one of your best real estate agents, also. Not as good as Nugget, the best real estate agent.
Oh, he's the best.
But he was sending this stuff, and it was during this time that I think it was just like, fuck it, nothing's out right now. I'll fucking pick this shit up. This looks wacky. I'll give it a shot. And I absolutely fell in love with it. It spoke to me in so many ways. I love every single little dumb thing. I like it when it's silly. I like it when it's serious. I like everything about it. I think it's just fantastic. And it got me in. I mean, I have now gone and purchased the entire franchise. I am playing through one of them literally right now.
As we speak.
I love them, and it's an important game to me. It is. I would maybe make a case that like the Yakuza franchise is my favorite video game franchise at this point. So even though it's not like that great of a game, it means a lot to me personally. And I mean, it's my third favorite game of all time. And people should really play those, but why would you do it this time I said it as opposed to any of the other times I said it?
Well,
One more
someday,
time.
I'm busy.
Why start now?
Why start now?
I'm not gonna play it until after 2020.
Jason, when you bought Ghost of Tsushima instead of starting Fist of the North Star, my heart broke. I was so close. I was so fucking close.
I did start it.
What'd you think of it?
I mean, I'll play it. It seems fine.
Just wait till number one of his list.
Oh,
It's Jason's
No, I'll play
second
it.
secret game.
It didn't come out this year, and I want. It's time to squeeze in all the 2020 games.
That's reasonable.
but
yeah,
it did come out this generation.
I like those games a whole awful lot, and I really don't like the looks of the direction they're taking them, but I'm giving it a try. I'm about 5 hours in, and it's okay thus far. It's not active time battle JRPG combat, at least.
Jason,
Matt, what kind of games do you like a whole
Yeah,
lot?
Matt, what's your number 4?
Oh, my number 4, sticking with the theme of games I put a whole lot of time into, it's Subnautica.
I honestly wasn't sure where that was going to end up, and I've been very curious.
Yeah. Well, some
Subnautica.
might say it's number 4.
Subnautica.
um,
Love it when Matt says, haha.
yeah. I mean, I much like every other game on this list, I don't know what else I can say about it.
It's got
You can
water.
convince me to buy it this week.
It looks good. The
Yeah,
soundtrack
you got
is
Sean to buy it.
phenomenal. Yeah, that's all I can die happy now.
And I
all
famously
I
never
wanted.
played a video game.
Yeah, that's true.
This will be the
Unlike
first
Mario.
one.
But
Hey. Matt,
yes.
look, I'm underwater.
Oh,
Oh my
fuck,
god,
he's
Ryan, you're gonna
Subnautica.
drown.
First time
No,
you
it's
did
okay, I've
you
got a
were
Ryan
recording
is the
apparatus.
Subnautica.
he's got his AirPods in. He can't breathe. Oh god,
No, they're literally called
No,
AirPods,
he
you
can
fucking
breathe.
moron.
they're in his ears.
Yeah,
That's
those
how
are
I should
his
have put 'em in my
skills.
That's what his
nose.
skills are.
Man, Matt, we're on the we're on a fuck. We're locked in right
I
now.
tell you what, yeah, you and me, brother. Yeah, it's.
I was
it's
honestly
phenomenal.
expecting Subnautica to be like number 1 or number 2 based on how positively you speak of it.
I mean, it was tough cuts for the top 4.
It doesn't have a snowy
I don't
mountain
like
in
that at all. I hate that. So Mandark over here. Anyways, what's your number 4, Jason?
Okay, my number 4 is another instance of me cheating. This one is significantly less acceptable than Overcooked 1 and 2, but fuck you.
Here we
The
go.
list is
Skyrim.
No, the generation is accurate. It's just these games are not the exact same game twice, but it's Spider-Man and Miles Morales.
I am mildly mad about that, but whatever. I can't stop you.
You did.
Go for it, Jason.
I played them back to back in the span of like 10
Like, no.
days.
I
They
see
were the
why
same
you're
game.
saying it. I get
Yeah.
why you're saying it. That doesn't mean I'm happy about it. Fuck, I can't get my hair back. Fucked.
Maybe you shouldn't have bangs.
It was really a case. I mean, I talked about this outside of recording a little bit, and then I still don't know which one I think is the better game. And that, like, I played both of them on PS5. So like, I played the updated Spider-Man.
The fact
They
that you're
look the same.
the fact that you're fucking saying that means that PS5 Spider-Man must be fucking good, because like
I mean, I
the
don't know,
technical
like, did you
the
have, like,
technical
major
improvements
complaints about
alone,
it?
like
Miles
like-
was so much better in my
you
opinion.
swing so much slower in the PS4 Spider-Man. Like it is like
That might not be a thing then, because
Yeah.
the gameplay physically felt identical.
yeah, no, you swing a lot
Hmm.
faster in Miles, which is they make the swinging feel even better, which is one of the best parts. It's like
I mean, yeah, I guess I could see that. But yeah, the physical gameplay feels the exact same playing both on PS5.
I also
You
think
went
that
to Sean's apartment.
I
or
think
is it
that
his
the
work?
This is my work.
I think that the writing and
Well, you live at your
story
work.
of Peter Parker Spider-Man is significantly worse than Miles.
Yeah, I think Miles being less than half the length.
Miles also is not a game of this generation.
Yeah, it is.
It came out the day of the cutoff.
No, it didn't. It launched with the fucking console.
Yeah, but it came out on PS4.
Yeah, but we're doing
it's-
it between
it's by
dates.
date.
Yeah, but
And
if
it
it's
came
on
out-
that date.
It came out a couple days after the cutoff.
No, that's bullshit. It came out. It's on the current generation.
You played it on PS5.
That doesn't matter. I don't own a PS4.
Like, I'll let you count Peter Parker Spider-Man, but like,
No.
no, you can't count Miles.
Yeah, you can.
Fuck you.
No,
He did.
I did. They're
Okay,
all-
scratch it
Sean,
from the
your turn.
record.
But gun to my head, I think the first one's a better game.
I mean, that's fine.
I
We're
think
gonna put a gun to your head.
I think the actual like building out of the skills and character was significantly more enjoyable. Where Miles, I feel like an hour into the game, you have every ability.
See, I think that my issue with like the Peter Parker stuff is Peter Parker, yeah, there's more to get, and 90% of it doesn't matter and it's useless. Like Peter Parker, you very much like find the things that you use, and then there's very little reason to ever deviate from that. Whereas every single like thing in
Boxers.
Miles
Underwear
matters.
percent speedrun.
See, I played it much differently, I guess, because like when I unlocked a new ability in Peter Parker, I was like, okay, I'll use this a lot now. Like the able to like grab enemies and swing them around. That was a really cool thing to gain.
He's got like
later.
9 fucking gadgets. I never used the spider drone.
No,
Well,
neither
that's
did I.
on you.
I'll agree with that. I didn't use a lot of the gadgets as much, but like the actual like slinging abilities, I felt like were better in that one.
Yeah, I think that those are still both some really fucking phenomenal games.
But yeah, and like, and again, if I had to choose one, it would be the first one. If you want to play by your rules, but I just straight up played them back to back as one game.
They're
And
everybody's rules.
We will be
Jason.
talking about Miles at another podcast that we do.
Yes,
This
sir.
year.
In 8 years.
It will come up.
And I can't talk about the first Spider-Man directly in that one because it didn't come out this year.
I mean, hey, remaster reports the category.
That's true.
I guess.
Sean, what's your number 4, and it better fucking follow the rules.
Better be
Uh,
Subnautica.
So I feel like this is the end of the part of the list that I can talk about, but like my top 3, I feel like I would gush about. So there's not really anything left to
Gush.
say about
Man,
Super Mario
locked in.
Odyssey.
Locked in.
Super Mario Odyssey is a great game. We've already said what needs to be said. I feel
Yeah,
like.
Dash already aggressively said nice things about it.
Yeah.
I mean, my last 3 games have been talked about. Have been talked about at least by me a bunch. But I'll still talk about them more. That's just how much I love my top 3.
Yeah, he loves that Benjamin Fodland.
Never heard of it. All right.
I am excited to play Super Mario Odyssey at some point.
It's a great
You
game.
shouldn't. It's a bad game.
I gotta
like
take it off my
those.
list.
I'm using reverse psychology on him.
The thing that I like about Mario Odyssey is Yoshi's Island and all of the Yoshi's games kind of suck, but in this one you can
Yoshi's
become
Island Super
Yoshi and
Nintendo
it's
is great.
good. No, it's not, but
Yes, it
whatever. It is as the sequel to Super Mario World. Fuck off.
Super Mario World's too easy. Baby game. It's also the game I've played the most in my entire life, but still a baby game.
Yeah, that's why it's a baby game.
Mario can't get high.
Touch fuzzy, get dizzy, baby.
Yeah.
Bro, he's eating mushrooms every day.
Dude,
must have been
what-
a
Yeah, it doesn't
weed
affect
to
him at
come up
all.
with this.
Dude,
Yeah, he
what
gets
if the
high, it makes him
mushrooms
taller.
were shrooms?
They must have been smoking weed when they made that game.
My mom will hear you.
It's super illegal in Japan. Don't let him know.
I believe him. Hunter, what's your number 4? Is it illegal in Japan? Probably not.
I forgot we were only on 4. This is gonna be a while, huh?
I tell you what.
It's Doom Eternal. Cause
Higher than 2016. You haven't
Well-
played that game.
I did. It's really short.
I hate it so much.
And then Doom Eternal's really long. They can't find a good middle ground. But yeah, I like it. I didn't like
You know my major
The-
complaints.
inclusion of the chainsaw into the general loop as much, essentially. Like how you have pretty low ammo and you got
Yep.
a chainsaw
Don't
random
love it.
shit.
See, I do like it.
My problem is that when I go to pick that game up, I forget about the chainsaw because I'm not used to it.
I also used the chainsaw a shit ton in the first one because it's
And
a
then I
free
forget.
kill.
And
Yeah.
I forget what button it is, and then I die.
Like
Also, this seems like a stupid complaint, but with what writing and story they have in it, it really feels like they're leaning too far into the rip and tear thing.
Yeah, I agree.
'Cause
I think that the
it-
first one's quote story was like understated and good in a way, and I think they leaned a little too far into it with this one.
It really,
Yeah. Like
it
they
seems
almost like
they're like, hey
explain
guys,
too much.
rip and tear. That's what Doom's about. You guys like rip and tear? You want to rip and tear? How about
Like-
the rip and tearing?
I even think that maybe his rune
Put
is
Sonic
a
in
little
Doom.
too far.
Mhm.
It's
like-
way past tear.
Like I mean I think the 2016 is the better of those two games, but and then again also I mean we'll talk about Doom Eternal at a later podcast that happens this year probably. But yeah, it's
My thing with Doom Eternal, I mean, levels are long. We all know that. I kind of like how much they lean into, I guess, like the metal aspect of it. Like it does kind of feel like they took a lot of cues from like Brutal Legend or something like that, which is a game I love hanging out in. It's just they're very similar in like world design, which I really like. Like it really does feel like they lean further into the metal inspiration, like they kind of like they did on the original Doom 2. And this feels like Doom 2, Doom 2016 2.
it's a good game.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
agree.
I'm still only like halfway through it but because of my major complaint of I don't like games where a single level takes 2 hours.
The Marauder is I think a blight on that game.
I did fine against them.
Actually, I would go so far as to say I don't like how much they gear it around certain weapons are the hard counters to certain enemies. I think
What is
that
this, Mega Man?
I think that it
Yeah, I just want to play with the weapons I like and then play the game.
yeah, like I think that like you can I definitely think there's something to be said for like having advantages, but like the Marauder, it's like it's being forcing me to switch to this weapon. I would like to choose to switch to a weapon, and I think that's just something I really don't like about it. And
Also,
other than that, I think the combat is wholly improved. I think that they really perfected the combat chess element of it.
I don't know. When you first do the Marauder, it especially seems like oh, this is gonna be like this cool one-on-one fight kind of
It's
thing.
like, no, you
And
use the
it's like-
remote detonator.
And then it's like, hey, here I'm gonna summon a dog, and then since this is how the game works, here's a bunch of random mook dudes, so that way if you're low on health or ammo, you can still fight. And
It brings the pace of the game to a crawl. Like
Mhm.
it is, I'm running around, like zipping around doing all this shit, and then when a Marauder happens, like, okay, I have to stop, and now I have to like do this Marauder thing. Whereas the other like big enemies, like the Barons of Hell, the other like high tier enemies, you can still keep doing all of the shit as you fight around them. But the Marauder, just having the shield and having the remote detonator missile be the way you beat it, it just
You beat it with a shotgun.
maybe you do.
I
Well,
mean,
don't say they force you to use one weapon when
Like,
they're.
okay,
don't.
yeah, I guess I could slow the game down even more and use the
I
shotgun.
have trouble with this thing. It's hard, and I'm doing it wrong.
No, I'm not saying it's hard. I'm saying it sucks.
Is that what you were saying to me?
It's not fun. Takes you out of the game.
just get good.
Just beat this enemy slower. You'll enjoy it more.
You might.
Ryan, what is your at number 3?
What's your
Number-
Doom 3 of the
Your
decade?
Doom 3
Generation.
BFG edition.
My Doom 3 is the Red Dead Redemption 2 of this generation.
Red Dead 1.
I bought
Yeah.
that a few days ago.
I fucking love Red Dead Redemption 2. Like, I think it does things that I like more. Like, I know it's not. I don't know. I like it better than 1. I didn't think I would when I was playing it, especially when I dropped off early on. But I think Chapter 4 onward just hits harder, plays better, does a lot of things that I like more. It feels a little bit more mature than Red Dead 1, which I think Red Dead 1 is the best game of the previous generation.
I would probably agree with that statement.
It's just cool. Like, I think they do a really good job of, like, Red Dead 1 feels more like Western movie, and this feels more like Western movie, but also like, what if also just like real Old West kind of shit? Like, they do a really cool Western story in a realistic, like, Old West environment.
I wish I could play that game.
I mean, you can technically
No,
play that
I can't.
game.
I can't. It makes my brain turn off.
Yeah, I mean, the levels in that one are longer than Doom's.
That game is a near perfect game. I mean, I probably put.
I mean, it's not
25
perfect. It's not
hours-
as perfect as Nier. Don't say that.
I probably put 25 hours into it, but I can't put 25 hours into a game and be a quarter of the way through. I couldn't do that. I couldn't put 100 hours into a game when I was 14 and had nothing to do. I'm never going to put 100 hours into a single story of a game. And that's what bums me out, because everything about that game is great.
And
Like,
that's I was thinking.
I never once sat down and played that game and was like, this sucks. I don't want to play it anymore.
Mhm.
It was just when I would play it for a 4-hour sitting and then go and like look at my progress and be like, oh, your progress went up 3%.
Yeah. And I get that. I
I
usually
can't
don't
do it.
like those kinds of games. I mean, I don't like open world stuff. I don't really like long stuff. But this one, it really felt like I was kind of like experiencing an entire series of like a TV show. Like, it'd be like
Yeah. No, it's
watching through a Game of Thrones or
great. and
something like that.
It blows my mind that a team of people was able to create a game that good that lasted that long.
Mhm.
Like,
When you
because I'm
have
sure the
more
game-
money than God, you can put out some stuff.
Because I'm sure the game stays just as good the whole time. Like
It gets better from Chapter 4 onward. Like,
and like that was my like I didn't have any. I know some of you guys struggled with it early on, and like because you quit playing it for a little while.
yeah, it like opened up at one point and just kind of let you be a little too free for a little too long, and it's kind of just like, I don't know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm bored.
Yeah, and I never hit a point like that. My point was like I'm big on like at the end of a session of a game, I like to go look and see how much of the story I accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
And looking and seeing that I was averaging maybe 1% an hour, I was like, I just have to shelf it. I'm gonna play something else.
I
'Cause
think
just-
that is an.
I
think
can't.
it's an
I just don't do it.
I think it's an exceedingly well-made game that isn't just not for me.
Yeah, and I get
Like-
that. And I think that was kind of a big part of me being like, I don't know if I like this more than one, but this one I think is a little bit more to
I don't think I ever
specific
finished one.
tastes.
See,
The
it
first
really
one's
bums me out
amazing.
because I think that
I've played it a
Red Dead
lot.
Redemption 1 is one of the best video games ever made, and then to go from that to this, like, I mean, I know I talked about it on that year's like Game of the Year of how it is probably the most disappointed I've been in a game in that particular way, but it's not
Yeah.
like that game's fault. That game's not a bad game. It's just not for me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it looks
That's
good.
okay.
I think the story was good. Every character was good, and like obviously, bad characters were very good at being awful. But I thought everything about that game was good. I just can't do the length, and that's just something I am very confident about. Like I know I'm not going to play a 100-hour single player campaign. Probably
Understandable.
ever. But that's my literal only complaint about that game. It does everything well.
Except being a tight little package.
I think the outfit stuff is kind of
It is
tedious.
not. It is not a tight little package.
It's a loose.
It's a loose, lovingly rendered horse nutsack. It is.
I like
Dangling
being
package.
I like being able to like grow out my beard and then shave.
Oh, I never shaved. I let that my Arthur looked like a fucking mountain man from day one. I think I'm wearing a hat that has like an animal's face on it, like right here too.
Snake Bulldogger hat's best hat.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta get that. You gotta let your beard grow as long as it can, and then
Like,
you
there's
get
Just constantly
hair growth
drink
elixir.
beard and hair
Yeah.
tonic.
So that
There
way
have
it
been
gets even
numerous
longer.
times where I've thought maybe I'll turn it back on, and then I remind myself that I can't.
I've been
Worse yet,
tempted to
you'd probably
replay
start
it.
over.
No.
Dash, what is your 100-hour long speech about your second best game of the generation going to be?
Third best, but
Third best. No, we're skipping 3.
So, I like, admittedly, it's one of those things like mentally I don't understand about myself because I will play a game for 200, 300, 400 hours, but I won't play a game that takes 100 hours to beat. It's unfortunate for this game that I love Dark Souls 1 the way I do, because you could make a case that Bloodborne is better. And
I would
Blood
make that case.
and see, and I can't even like dispute that. Like I don't feel comfortable arguing against Bloodborne in that way. But Bloodborne is my number 3. Truly rising through the ranks of a game I picked up on day one and was like, this game blows. This is the worst Souls game ever made. And then but I never got rid of it. It always just kind of stuck around, and I would just kind of do that thing of like, you know what, I'm gonna fucking get back into it. And the way that my affection for Bloodborne has grown over the course of its release, it's been amazing to just get more into it. I also think that it gets some bonus points on this particular like of the generation list because I think it might be the best PS4 game.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is one of the things that it is emblematic of the generation.
Yeah.
It is, if you were to only play one Souls game, I'd honestly maybe say play Bloodborne. The things that it does to the formula, the things how it forces you to play the Souls games the way you're supposed to play the fucking Souls games, I think is beautiful. I think that it's the only game to do HP Lovecraft shit effectively. So much about it, and I still think a lot of the level, like the actual minute-to-minute level design, is kind of lacking. I've never wavered on that opinion that I have carried since the first time I played it. The amount of things that it does around the edges, it's unfortunate that I love Dark Souls 1 the way I do, because Bloodborne will never be better than that. But it is leaps and bounds better than Dark Souls 3. Like it is a massive chasm of better than all of the other fucking Soulsborne games.
I
And the
feel like
DLC is
my
fantastic.
my thoughts on
great
one of only
DLC.
two
Bloodborne.
good Souls DLCs.
They're hard to come
phenomenal.
by. My thing with Bloodborne is I feel like
Easy to come to.
spiritually it is the true like Dark Souls 2. Like it's like
Yeah, I feel
like
that.
comes through as like Dark Souls being this like we're gonna like change the game, we're gonna try new stuff.
I mean,
and
it's what Miyazaki went to work on when they made Dark Souls 2. Like,
yeah, exactly.
um,
It's like you carry on the ideas. I think when I heard of Dark Souls 2, like even thought that a Dark Souls 2 would be a possibility, it was like I remember being like, oh, I want them to be like sci-fi or Lovecraft or just something like change it up a lot. I don't want to see fantasy again. I want to see that thing in a different environment, and Bloodborne is that thing in a different environment.
and now it's like I want a Bloodborne 2, like I want a Bloodborne follow-up more than I want more of that world. I find I'm so absolutely enamored with it. It's so interesting, so cool.
Mm-hmm.
So many
But the
things about
Chalice
that.
dungeons.
Yeah, except
We don't talk
Look,
about the challenge.
it's not a perfect game.
That's why it's not number one.
The worst thing is when they fucking
And
announced
why
the
it's
Chalice
not
Dungeons
Tetris
and saying
Effect.
that they were going to put fucking like a roguelike component into a Souls game, I lost my fucking mind, and then it just sucked. But I love Bloodborne. I think that Bloodborne is one of the most important games of the generation. I think that it's also something that I will go back to the rest of my life. It is maybe the most iconic game to me of this generation.
To be totally honest, I have no idea what it is.
It's Dark Souls, but you have cooler hats.
It's goth Dark Souls.
Yeah, it's goth mode Dark
Yeah.
Souls,
It's
and you can have a
great.
pimp cane. It's
good.
one of those. It does a lot of the ideas from Dark Souls, but actively changes what it allows you to do in the gameplay to play the game that they want you to play it. You can't play it passive like you can other Dark Souls games.
Yeah, you got to just run in and
You
fuck it
have
up.
to be aggressive in it, and I love that about it. Like I found that like it seems like a lot of people latched on to Bloodborne where they didn't latch on to Dark Souls. And I think a portion of that is because it was a PS4 exclusive. But I
Sony
also
ponies.
I think
Yeah.
That's
that
definitely part of it.
I think that a lot of it is because you can't play that game passive. You have to get in there and you have to do that, and that might cause you to bounce off of it. And I totally get that. But if you do stick with it, you will learn how you're supposed to play Souls games. And I love it. It's so good. And if I was going to get fired in the name of a certain game from GameStop, that might be the fucking one to do.
Understandable.
But yeah, I will go ahead and pass it off to Matt for his number 3.
Matt, what would you get fired for?
I would get fired for Hitman 2 2018.
You got fired for way less than that.
You're goddamn right I did. But yeah, Hitman 2 or Hitman 2018 is a phenomenal game. I put a ton of hours into it. I think the level design for most of them is just wonderful. They build the environments really well. The character, the AI interactions and everything is really, I think it's really comical the way that it always ends up panning out. And just the interactivity of everything. You can pick up everything. You can hit anybody with whatever the fuck you want. And I think it's fantastic.
I think that
And
like
it's the only game that I've ever like purposefully tried to get like a speed run route of a level.
it's so
And I had a pretty good one for Sapienza for a while, and they patched it, broke it. But yeah, I will talk that game up until the third one comes out, and hopefully is better.
in like a month.
Yeah.
Hitman
And let's come out.
Oh, I can't
like
wait.
the world of assassination platform, Hitman 1 and 2 was my number 12 game of the generation. Like it's so fucking good, and it's
So good.
much kind of like it's a little bit different than Mario Odyssey because like I've always liked the Hitman games, but they were never profound in the way that these new Hitman games are. Like it's crazy that this franchise has existed as long as it has, and then kind of just now entered their great period.
Yeah.
and the way that it's like the systems driven gameplay, I think like people flock to Breath of the Wild for its like set of rules and the way the kind of world operates, but I think Hitman completely blows it out of the water as like a systems driven thing of just like once you understand how all of the components of that world work, and sure, it's like not realistic, but it doesn't have to be. It's a nice just clockwork box, and when you can dial everything and you know the exact way everything will work and you can just execute, it's a thing of beauty.
It's so
And
good.
the amount of secrets that are in it, like I remember when you came over and you showed me the Sapienza like stalactite trick, I lost my fucking mind.
Yeah.
And there's just so much density. Like despite that I've put so much time into those games, I'm sure there are so many things that I still don't know about them. I also think it's the most effective use of the episodic system for games release ever, bar none.
I would definitely agree with that.
To the way that I was disappointed that 2 came out all at once.
Yeah, but they're doing 3's going to be episodic, isn't it?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure because the episodic thing
demands being drip fed content.
It works so well for that game because like it forces you to get in. Like it makes you spend a lot of time on the individual areas. Like I put 25 hours into Paris because it was all I fucking had. And
Paris is such a good level.
Yeah, it also doesn't help that Paris is really, really good, but it's like I learned that level inside and out. And it's just so fucking good. Those are some of the best video games ever made.
My favorite part about the Hitman games is that the best level is always the first one, so that way when I stop
that's not true.
At the second one, I don't feel bad.
I mean, Hokkaido's
it's like Hokkaido's the last level.
The bank is really good.
Hokkaido looks
lame. The bank is really
Hokkaido's
good.
So good.
The only good part about Hokkaido is that you can dress as a ninja and start looking over a helipad or whatever.
You can also dress up as Kill Bill and kill Bills.
That's true.
Been there, done that.
What's your Hitman number 3 of the generation?
My Hitman number 3 of the generation is Doom 2016. I don't know how much more we need to say about it.
There'll be more said.
For sure.
One of the best first-person shooters ever made, if not the best first-person shooter ever made.
It is my third Bethesda shooter on my list and my last one.
Bethesda knows what's up with getting shooters.
Yeah, I cannot offhand think of a first-person shooter I enjoy more than that one.
Not even Time Splitters?
Not even Time Splitters.
Damn.
Like I would love for them to make it. Like it's not only is that like really comparing apples to oranges, but like Time Splitters is dated in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like Doom was a game I went into expecting nothing. I didn't like grow up playing it.
The beta was so bad.
I had played the original Doom when I was like a little kid a couple times. Not like played through it, but I played it for like 20 minutes. I went in expecting nothing. I don't know if you had already played all of it or if I got it when it came out. I honestly don't remember. I don't remember looking forward to it. I just remember getting it, playing it, and immediately being sucked in.
Ryan and I played it very close to launch, but we also played the beta, and the beta was so fucking bad. Like,
yeah, what was the beta? Was it
It was multiplayer.
Oh, yeah, it was just kind of like the Halo.
All of the marketing around that game was just like, oh, no, the multiplayer. We're going to do all this multiplayer. So Snap Map, baby. Snap Map's going to be the next big thing.
Freeze
and they
Tag
never
was
talked about...
extremely fun.
Freeze Tag was the best multiplayer mode in a mediocre multiplayer.
We played a little bit of the multiplayer. It was all right. But I think I played Doom at launch.
We played it very close to launch, if not the day of launch.
Yeah, I know I for sure played it at launch, and I don't know if I was kind of the like toe tester, where it's like I'm in there checking it out, and I was like, oh, it's actually good. And you were like, okay, I'll grab mine.
Or it's like I think we have like really good reviews also, and they were like, wait a minute, is this game gonna be fucking good? Like what? And we might have just taken. I don't fully remember, but
because they didn't send review copies out earlier.
Yeah, they didn't even send review copies of it.
Oh yeah, it was like the writing on the wall for it was kind of just like, oh, it sucks shit.
And then it somehow was the best first-person shooter.
Yeah, I mean that game. I mean, it's obviously one of my favorite games ever, being my third highest in the generation. But I mean, my top 3 in this generation are probably all in my like top 5 or 6 or 7 games ever.
Yep.
Like my top 3 are a significant jump from my 4.
My top 3 are in my top 4 favorite games of all time.
Dash is a big fan of this generation.
But Dark Souls didn't come out this generation. But yeah, Sean,
what
you've been
one of
very
yours
quiet
came
down
out this
there.
generation?
Yeah, it's been a bunch of stuff I haven't. I guess I played Doom. Doom's good.
Doom is good.
Sean,
Controls
play Hitman.
good.
They're good
You
games.
sound like.
The first level.
There are
that
2 Seans?
Which one do I shoot?
Both of them.
Please.
I've talked about these games so much. There's no surprises in my top 3. But a couple months back, I sat down to play a meme game, and it became one of my favorite experiences of all time. Getting over it with Bennett Foddy. I love just throwing myself at like an insane difficulty curve. The first time I got up the mountain, it took me 12 hours. The second time, it took me 30 minutes.
I have no idea what that game is still.
It's wild, and it's one of those things like people talk about like hard games, like, oh yeah, Dark Souls, it's a hard game. Getting over it is a hard game.
And it feels so satisfying to beat. It's the guy who made QWOP, among many other things. It's definitely
also a hard game.
Nah, QWOP's easy.
It's a game where your control scheme, you're a man stuck in a pot. Your only control scheme is you control the head of a railroad hammer while your center of gravity remains in the center of the screen at all times. You have to climb an insane pile of assets pulled from asset stores and whatnot, as a man gently explains some surface level philosophy to you, which eventually becomes very sincere.
It's wild ass Trials.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah.
it's a very similar to Trials kind of situation.
Play Trials.
You would love if you like Getting Over it. You would maybe actually love Trials.
Yeah,
Trials
you
is
might.
dope as shit. Anybody who doesn't like Trials is stupid.
I feel like the thing about Trials is that it presents itself as being a dumb game, but there's so like it's that game is punching
balance
way
and
below its
timing.
weight class. Like it's
just a
Trials
fun game of
is
balance and timing.
Body, but with more motorcycles.
yeah, it's like I think just like something about it being a dirt bike thing makes it like something about that makes it seem like it's shitty.
It's
But-
Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy with a Fox sponsorship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like nobody except for like somebody who'd play like a NASCAR video game wants to play like a motocross video game. But Trials is like
It's not a motocross game. It's a
Right,
it's
yeah.
a fucking 2D platformer.
it's the way better version of the games I played on Addicting Games during computer class when I was
Yep.
in like fourth
Hey, that's how
grade.
Red Link started, baby. Now Ubisoft owns them.
And look where that's gotten them.
Hunter,
Eh.
I think we're on number 3.
Are we on 3?
Yeah.
Yep.
Been so long. My number 3 is Risk of Rain 2.
That high.
Yep.
It's really good though.
It's cool
Good
shit.
shit.
I have fun playing it.
I've been playing it since they first released in early access, so it was lots of fun seeing the differences in each update and whatnot. And
Bought it.
You're halfway there.
It's a
Yeah.
game that is so good. I got everything unlocked on PC and then wanted to play more, so I got everything unlocked on Xbox.
I'm working towards that too.
It does the Skinner box like reward system where you're constantly getting things like unlocking shit, so they drip feed you that content really good. Even you always feel like you're getting one over on the game with your runs. Like you always feel busted somehow, and then you will always still die. I don't like how long it takes to beat it, but it is
It is a little long sometimes.
an hour to beat it is rough.
You'll feel overpowered as hell and then get one shot by a brass
Yeah.
contraption you didn't know was there.
It's phenomenal. It's so much of an improvement on the first game. I love it.
Plus it's got Chuzzle Deluxe.
It's got Chuzzle Deluxe. One might call it the 20th best game of the generation.
I wouldn't. I would say the third.
Well, Ryan, what would you call? God damn it, he left again. That son of a bitch.
I have to pee. I'm so sorry.
Oh wow, Sean has to pee. Big fucking surprise.
I
Ryan,
know,
what's
it
your-
happens all the time.
Better.
Ryan, what's your number 2? Well, Sean does a number 1. What's your number 2?
He might be doing a number 2 as well.
Standing up.
I'm still here. I want to hear Ryan's pick.
It is my number 2 pick.
Number 2 pick is the sound of water running.
It is
Subnautica, Abzu, Sean Palmer's
Endless Ocean
wakeboarding.
2.
It's Doom 2016. I mean, I love first-person shooters. It's the best first-person shooter of the generation, but I also have super fond memories of the original Doom, and I feel like it does a really good job of kind of keeping the Doom spirit alive. Like, it really just feels like a Doom game, which I feel like they've had trouble with. I mean, I guess they only made one other one, but like 3 really kind of fucked things up. But yeah, it does.
That is the understatement of the year.
Yeah.
The generation.
It's just really cool, and I was super surprised that it was as good as it was, because there was, I mean, we were talking about a little earlier, all that, it was like writing on the wall. It was just like they wouldn't release review copies, the beta sucked. There was just so much like little stuff around it. It was like, oh fuck, the new Doom sucks. It was in development hell for like 10 years. It was gonna be like a Call of Duty, like hell on earth kind of thing, that it looked like it was like literally just Call of Duty, but it's like, oh, this guy's on fire, I guess he's a demon. Like, it looked so bad. I feel like there weren't even like a lot of trailers about it. Like, they were
It was
being
all
really
multiplayer.
Yeah, they were being really secretive about what the main story was like, and it's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It rules.
Yeah,
And I think
it's good shit.
Wolfenstein ran into a similar thing also, where it was like, before it was coming out, like we thought it was going to be garbage, and then it somehow, like, it ended up being really good, and then it was just like, okay, they're not going to pull that off again. Like,
Yeah.
they're not going to resurrect a franchise like that twice. And now
Yeah.
we are sitting here waiting. Okay, when's the new single player Quake?
Exactly. That's
When are
what
they gonna fix
that's,
Quake?
that's the next step, and that's what I want.
Because Lord knows the Quake they made is not it, but you're just going to forget that happened.
You can play as Beej and Doom Guy.
Yeah, you know what are some cool games where I can play as those characters?
Tony
What?
Hawk.
Super Smash Brothers.
Super Smash Brothers, Melee. I mean, my dream game is still them doing Wolfenstein meets Doom as a crossover game where
Yeah, you
the
play through a
Jetsons.
Wolfenstein
BJ
game.
goes to hell and fucking Doom guy has to kill Hitler.
It's like
Yeah.
those games where Crash and Spyro trade places.
Yeah. So Doom guy kills Hitler
Jimmy
and then
Timmy
BJ goes to
Power.
hell to kill Hitler.
Can we,
And that's what you do.
Give him the old 1-2.
Yeah.
can we mention real quick that at some point they the developers of 2016 were like, yeah, all the wads are canon. So
Yeah.
that means, and all
H
the
Doom's canon,
H-
baby.
H Doom's canon. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 is canon.
The map of their school that the Columbine shooters made.
Yeah,
The
The
Seinfeld
really hard-
wad canon.
the really horribly racist ones. All those are canon.
Everything. Doom 2016 is maybe the best first-person shooter ever made.
Yeah, I remember. I just remembered how little I was looking forward to it and knew nothing about it. I remember buying something at GameStop around the release, and Ryan gave me like not like a trading card, but just like a little.
It was a
Yeah.
trading card.
Like yeah, it was like a little.
I still have all of them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
still
was a
got my
little- it was a-
Cacodemon somewhere.
Yeah, it was a little card with a Cacodemon on it. I was like, this thing looks stupid. I'm never gonna play this fucking game. And I just like tossed it in my car. And then I don't know, maybe a month or 2 later, when it had come out and you guys had played it enough to convince me to go get it, it was a complete 180 of I know Doom was some shooter 20 years ago.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna touch this new one. I don't care. It's nothing that I want to do, and then it's one of my favorite games of all time.
It's fucking good.
So when I was looking at my when I opened this up, I found my original receipt for Doom.
Boy.
And he found out it didn't come out this generation.
I can tell you that
Actually, a
Greg,
PS1 game.
Greg sold it to me on May 12th of 2016. I traded in Plants vs. Zombie Garden Warfare 2 and Ratchet & Clank on PS4, Drive Club on PS4, and Earth Defense Force 4.1 for $104 in trade credit. And I purchased Doom, which came out... I got this in the midnight release. And I got that, as well as one No Man's Sky.
Oh shit!
Nice.
Which one of those was a better first day play?
I
Wait
also
till you hear his number one.
I also put $12 down onto the Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask Nendoroid, which is right here.
I can't believe you traded in Earth Defense Force for No Man's Sky.
Look, man. Like,
No
the worst
Sky.
thing about that is that's the second time I would have bought No Man's Sky, because I got No Man's
Okay,
Sky
bye, Jason.
2 days early through Best Buy.
He said
He also
it's
had to pee.
3 or 2 or whatever we're on.
Dash, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is... So while we're going through and like doing these games, I'm trying to like deduce down everyone's things, and it makes me think I might have figured out your number 1, which blows my fucking mind if I did. But
Me?
one particular game that I did not really talk about that much in other categories, because I think that in terms of like the things it does best, it's really only like one category, but it's my 4th favorite game ever, and it is the single best entry in an entire genre, much the same way Doom 2016 is the best first-person shooter ever made. If you are looking to play the best Metroidvania ever made, look no further than one Hollow Knight.
I haven't looked much further now.
It is it's the best Metroidvania, like without question, number 1 with a fucking bullet. It's so good. It takes and big surprise that I would like this. It takes a lot of like hints from Dark Souls. Like it's you can tell that they took inspiration from it, but it's not like a Souls-like. Like it's still very much its own thing. But it has the oppressive environment, the exploration that you would find both in Dark Souls kind of Metroidvania itself. It has the corpse run mechanic where you're going and getting your stuff. But as Metroidvanias are one of, if not my favorite genre of video games, to play what is indisputably the best one of them, it's just an absolute fucking joy to go through. I did every goddamn thing in that first one. From bell to bell, I never stopped having fun with that game. The way that it does the exploration is so good, and it drives me up the fucking wall because I hear people complain about this online, but like you'll go into an area and you don't have a map for the area. As you're exploring through, you find someone who sells you the map, and you might go through an entire area and never fucking find him, and guess what? You just don't have the fucking map until you clear that area. Eventually, once you beat like the kind of like area boss, you'll find him back in town and you can just kind of buy the maps you missed. But that like layer of the impressive environment that the Metroid, like that you really want out of a Metroidvania, but then also help keep like really actively working to keep you lost. It's so fucking fantastic. The combat is like, it's super simple to like start and like kind of understand, but then has a crazy high skill ceiling with how like advanced you can get with it, and just kind of how many like little tricks you can do to get really good at it. It has one of the best visual styles I have ever seen in a video game. It does the hand-drawn thing maybe better than Cuphead in its own way. Maybe.
I agree.
It's cute. It's got like a cute aesthetic to it, but also like very dark and foreboding. The story and lore surrounding it are really cool. It has Zoth the Mighty in it, and I can't name a single other game that has Zoth the Mighty in it. It's so good. And I mean, theoretically, someone will make a better Metroidvania. It might even be the Hollow Knight follow-up, Silk Song, that's going to come out eventually when it's done. But in terms of like the boxes it ticks, it's gonna be really hard to make a better Metroidvania than this.
I played
It's-
a decent amount of it, but my computer kind of stopped being able to handle it. And when it was getting to points in boss fights where I was losing frames that I needed to like dodge, I was getting really frustrated.
Yeah, and
So
it's
I never continued playing it, but now that it's out on like Xbox, which I think can probably run it,
yeah, I think it's even on Game Pass.
yeah, I think I have it downloaded. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play through it at some point because it was really fucking cool. But it was just getting to a point where it's like I'm having to play a game that is already kind of hard, but fight against my computer that would be like, I don't know, it was trying to process it and it was like something's lunging at me and then all of a sudden
Yeah.
they would have hit me because they lost all the dodge frames.
Yeah, it's very much a game that you would need silky smooth gameplay.
Also,
But it's
with the mapping, I like how you can kind of customize how much info it gives you, because you can just buy the map, and then if you want later, you can buy the thing that shows you where you are, where like hot springs are, stuff like that. But if you don't want any of that stuff, you don't need any of it. It's optional.
you can buy little markers that let you make marks on the map, so it has like the mild cartography system. So it's like if you hit a wall, you can like, okay, I'm going to put in this marker to represent that like this is some kind of wall. And so when you go, it makes going back to it really, really fun, because that's one of the things I really hate about Metroidvanias as a whole, where it's like I will find like a wall and I'll be like, okay, I clearly can't pass this, I need to come back to this later, but I won't remember to go back to it later, or I won't remember kind of like what was about it. But this one you can just mark as you're going, and it's absolute joy to it's that game where I 100%ed it because I just want to exist in this world more. I want to know more about it. I want to be around here more. And I still have that feeling of like I want more Hollow Knight. I love that game. It is profound. And given it's like we smashed a lot of Dark Souls inspiration in with the Metroidvania and gave it a really good art style and really good music. Of course that's something Dash would like, but whereas I think that a lot of my love for Yakuza is very subjective, I think that this one is just like, it is a masterclass of design. And I hope someone can make something better than it someday, but that's a tall order. Matt,
Good luck.
hit me
Matt,
with
what
your
can
number
you make
2.
better than Hollow Knight?
So my game that's better than Hollow Knight is FromSoft presents Bloodborne: Shadows Die Twice.
What?
Look, I will give Jason the fucking Spider-Man. You can't put those two games together.
They're the
Don't
same
you?
thing.
I'm not including Sekiro.
He's not including
no.
Bloodborne. You heard him.
Yeah. I mean, Bloodborne is phenomenal. I disagree with Dash. I think the level design is really good, but that's coming from someone who hasn't hate fucked every Dark Souls game.
I don't hate fuck them. I'm just rough with them.
Okay.
I'll hate fuck 2.
But also the
Two's fine.
Tonitrus is
fine.
just
I didn't even talk about the Tonitrus.
cool. I know.
Okay, but okay,
Yes,
Matt,
you did.
So
It's-
Matt,
We talked about it
Yes.
during best tool or weapon.
so Matt,
Well, yeah.
okay, you know the Tonitrus, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
What if you could have a tiny Tonitrus?
What if
He already does.
What if you could have a
Ah.
tiny Tonitrus in addition to the Tonitrus?
What if
Yeah.
you could have a lightning mace
I could
and then also a smaller one?
do a whole ass fucking podcast about Bloodborne, but I feel like I gushed enough about it.
Yeesh.
Like that game's
It's-
unbelievable.
It is phenomenal. And I, much like Hunter with whatever his number 10 was that didn't count, I think.
It counted.
I will shill for Bloodborne until the end of time because it's a fantastic game and everyone should play it.
It bums me out that game is not more accessible.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time.
Because like I want everyone to, because there are things about that game that if you remove all the Dark Souls crap out of it, it's still dope as fuck.
Yeah.
And I wish that people could see that.
Yeah.
Jason,
What?
tell me something dope as fuck.
What's the
Number
second
two,
dope
right?
as fuck game?
Yeah, not the most dope thing.
So penultimate
Most
dope.
dope. So
It's a good
my-
band name.
my 1 and 2 was a long back and forth over, because I've known what my top 2 are since before we started doing this, and I've gone back and forth on them a lot. It's pretty close to a tie. It's one where I ended up just going with the game I think is a better game as my number 1. But my number 2 is Control. I think it might be a game I like more than my number 1, but I think my number 1 is a better overall game. But Control is the game that has opened me up to taking random recommendations of something I have never heard of and actually at least considering playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't used to do, like, I used to stick to the things that I knew. I would play a game if it was in a series that I was already familiar with, or it was just like a really big name thing.
If the title happened to
Control-
include the word call and of,
Or
Oh,
Trials?
Yep, those are things I would try.
you'll
But no, it's like
Son of a
locked in.
bitch.
Locked in.
Control is a game that, I mean, I think we are mostly on the same page, that we had never heard of it.
Yeah.
Until it had already come out.
I mean,
I knew literally nothing about it. I never heard that it was a game. I had never heard of the people that made it because I'm not super plugged into that side. Like,
even if you
Part
are
of
super
gaming.
plugged in, like Remedy is not, and the last game that Remedy made was dog shit.
right, but yeah, so it's like I knew nothing about it. Dash told me to try it out. I watched like a 2-minute YouTube review of it, and I was like, I don't know, telekinetic stuff's cool. So I borrowed it, and I mean, it took almost no time for me to be like, oh, this is like, this game is the shit. Like, it was at the tail end of 2019. I think it was probably like late November, early December. I borrowed it to play it, and then it ended up topping like most of my categories for game of the year. I mean, it's one of my favorite games I've ever played.
Best use of butt rock in a video game ever.
It's not a
I-
Sonic game.
I do not replay games, like one-player campaign games, and I fully intend to play Control again and play it more the second time than I did the first time. And I
Mhm.
don't replay games, like, ever.
I'm still
I've
like,
played through it twice already.
I am blown away that Control took off the way it did. Because, like, I knew, like, again, seeing the stuff where it's like, oh, yeah, that seems like a thing I will like. And when I recommended it to people, I did it very much in the vein where I'm just kind of, like, hoping that people will play it. I did not at all expect it to go over as well as it did. Like,
Well,
I am
you told
still.
me you told me like, oh yeah, you go into this place, the building where they keep all the SCPs.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, that sounds neat. And then you booted it up and you showed me the clock room.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, that's fucking weird. I gotta find out what that's about.
That was maybe my favorite room.
It's
Yeah,
it's
I don't
good
think
room.
you told me almost anything about it. I think you literally were just like, I think you should try this game. I watched almost nothing for it. I was like, fuck it, why not? And I don't usually do that. I usually do not listen to game recommendations because I don't play video games. Like, I play video games less than maybe everyone in here except for maybe Sean.
I think you play more than me.
Yeah.
I mean, as of late, you're beating Ryan out.
Game.
I mean, yeah, that's just lately. I'm playing a lot, but like over the
I
course
played through
of,
the
like,
last two
few
Borderlands
years,
DLCs.
Like, over the course of the last like 4 or 5 years, I've played not much. Like, I mean, 2019 was the first time I've participated in Game of the Year. It was the first time I felt like I played enough. I usually play like between 3 and 5 new games in a given year.
Mm-hmm.
But
Because, like,
yeah, I mean, taking the recommendation for Control, playing it and enjoying it as much as I did has way opened me up to a willingness to try something new.
it's just like I love Control. Don't get me wrong, but it's like Control's my number 27. I think it's better than Breath of the Wild. It's like I
I've
love
also only
Control.
Played, I only played like 30 or 40 games in this whole generation.
But like Hunter putting it at like 100, what Hunter put it at number 5,
Mine
Yeah.
was 9.
9. But it's like the
I
fact
had
that it
number
was
5.
on Hunter's list is just like wow. That it blows my mind how well this game has gone over. With 5 of the people in this chat.
guess
I liked it.
I played like 50 or 60 games. This
I'm a
generation,
simple
so-
man.
'Cause,
I
like,
telekinetic powers and making maps.
I was expecting Control to go over with everyone else about as well as it did with Sean. And because it's like I think a lot of things about that game are cool, but I like Remedy. Like I like Alan Wake a lot.
Yeah, I've never played that.
Oh, that's what I played, not Control.
I thought
Yeah, wouldn't that would have been a good goof if I just played all of Alan Wake.
But
you guys
it's
kept mentioning a clock room. I was like, do you mean the street light?
You guys keep talking about Jessie. When do I meet her?
it's like I thought so many things about that game were fantastic, but we haven't been able to talk about it because Sean didn't boo it. But the Ashtray Maze, like
Oh.
Ashtray Maze is. My mouth was literally agape. Like it was just, my jaw dropped the entire thing. I was having so much fun. I stood up and Melissa was with me at the time because like even she had like seen what was going on and she's like looking at this and I'm just like, this is amazing. Like it's that moment where everything in the game clicks together. You have all your powers and you just fucking cut loose.
And it makes
And
no sense. I mean,
Footloose.
just like the fact that the game just went from, I mean, the tone that it was, and just switched to listening to this Walkman with this butt rock song gives you the power to fuck shit up more than you have ever before.
Like
That's
It-
the key to the maze.
it toes the line so much where like this should be lame as hell, but it's somehow perfect. I wouldn't change anything about it. Like it's perfect.
Yeah,
It
and
is-
being able to interact with so much stuff in that game is like I loved. One of my favorite like dumb things to do was to like telekinetically pick up a projector.
Oh,
oh
yeah.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would like continue to project whatever it was doing on whatever it was pointing at, and that was just an amazing touch to me.
Dr. Darling is amazing.
He's darling.
Yeah, that is the actor of Alan Wake who plays Dr. Darling, and
They all know Jessie is dynamite.
yeah, that game is something. I don't think that game is necessarily as near and dear to me as it is to a lot of other.
It's not
because
near.
Again, it's like it's my 27th game, but it's
Pretty
like
far, actually.
I think that game is amazing and it just blows my mind. Like if nothing else I've done, I got one of my recommendations to go over well. Like I got one
Yeah,
real good one.
I was definitely shocked that it was a game that like everybody except for Sean loved it.
I liked it.
Yeah, you liked it. You didn't love
That's the
it.
problem.
You didn't want some more of it.
I do think if I went into it similarly where I knew very little, I
I
think
agree.
Yeah, I think we probably hyped it
Yeah.
up too much.
And
I mean, we
really
haven't
thought that
really
the,
talked about
that
we've
the
talked about it
Ashtray
for 1
Maze
year.
moment, when I heard that there was a big moment, I thought it was going to be a big story moment. I was really gearing up for that. When the story ended up being not much, I think I kind of it's my own fault. It's hype poisoning. It's not nothing.
But
with
I
the
mean,
game.
when
Yeah,
when
that is
Ashtray
what it
Maze
is.
happened, you knew immediately that was the moment, right?
Yes, but then I immediately knew that the story wasn't gonna
Ah.
like hit.
And I'll agree with you on there. Is like I think the story of Control is kind of lame, but the
not a
writing
story
is
guy.
amazing.
These I love the vibe. I love the environments. I don't want to talk bad about it on the Game of the Generation. You know, and this isn't the place for that.
You get to go inside an Xbox Series X, and the Control is the Xbox Series X Astro's Playroom.
Okay.
It is a game.
How many
that
Ape
definitely-
Escape refs does it have?
It's a game that definitely made me more able to like differentiate story from writing. like you just said. Like I think it was a very well written game, but the story, I mean, it's
It's
not that
nothing
interesting.
really. Like Fridge
No,
Duty
but-
though
But
is
the writing of
Fridge
the
Duty.
game is great.
Oh shit! I never
Poor-
saved that guy. Oh no.
shit. Well, we forgot about him.
Neither did
He's a
I. I'm
Sean.
going to next time.
Like I'm so excited to go again. Like I have been chomping at the bit to play that DLC, and
It's
I'm having
great.
to restrain
Like,
myself
I haven't
from
touched the
getting into
DLC
it.
at all because
So I'm
I haven't touched it since my first playthrough.
I heard Alan Wake shows up in one of them.
Yeah, Alan Wake is a canonical AW. So it's an AWE, the Alan Wake expansion. Love it.
That was an aggressive eye roll.
Damn,
So good.
I want to spoil something 'cause that reminds me.
Wait, what do you mean?
Jason, Jason, take off your headset.
Why?
Never mind. I was gonna say something about Undertale. That reminded me of.
Oh,
Never mind.
okay.
Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about.
Well,
See, everyone got it.
Hunter, what is your Hunter? What's your number? Oh, wait, no, it's Sean. Sorry,
Yeah.
what's your number 2?
I get it.
Sean's number
That's what
2
I
was
get for
Control.
It's either Oberdin or it's Breath of the Wild.
Well, it's Breath of the Wild. I know that some of us here have gripes about Breath of the Wild. I don't think I do. I think I like the items breaking. Even
I want to kick him from this fucking chat so badly. Like because literally I'm sitting here thinking to myself like, say weapon degradation's good. Say it, you motherfucker. Say it.
I liked it. Kept me on my
shit,
toes.
you actually said it.
It made me have to I felt like I had to
Made
try
him a better
other ways
Zelda.
to interact with the environment. I love this game. Like even the worst aspects of it, I thought were neat.
I would love to play it.
I got lost in it. Spent 2 weeks glued to my couch. I can't wait to see. I hope they do something interesting with the next spin. I hope they like divert off in a similar but different enough direction. Basically, what you said earlier. I love this game.
Good stuff.
Hunter, hit me with number 2.
My number.
Shit
2
on me, baby.
There's none of that in this, but it's Rune Factory 4.
RuneScape.
I think it is as perfect of a farming game like that you can make. And I'm honestly a little worried for Rune Factory 5 that it might be worse, but I'm just happy that they're making another one.
What kind of
But-
farming games are those like? Are they?
It's
They're like Harvest Moon.
Yeah, it's literally a fantasy Harvest
Like,
Moon.
Yeah, because Rune Factory started, they were like, Harvest Moon's getting old. How do we make it like fresh? And then they added like dungeon crawling and like weapon smithing and stuff. And then that sold a bunch, so they just kept making it. And it's one of the few series I can think of that like got only better with each numbered series or each numbered entry in the thing. Because a lot of the time it's like, oh well, like Mario 3 is better than 1 and like in these ways, blah blah blah, or Mario 2 is better in this way and whatnot. But like Rune Factory 4, if you compare Rune Factory 4 and Rune Factory 2, it's night and day. Rune Factory 4 is just objectively a better game. Like the characters and whatnot are all subjective opinions and shit, but like it's objectively a better game. And it's got like mechanics built into the mechanics. Like everything's a fucking stat. There's a stat for walking. There's a stat for sleeping, for eating, for bathing. All it does is the more you do those, it increases like your actual stats.
The Morrowind method.
Pretty much. But like with forging, you get better the more you forge. But you get more recipes for weapon types the better you are with that weapon type. So if you use punching items more, you unlock more like fist weapons than short swords and stuff. Upgrading weapons is like layered in that, yeah, you can upgrade them, but if you upgrade it with a level 9 material, it does more. Then if you upgrade that level 9 thing with a different thing, it's even better. There's a tool of a magnifying glass that just lets you like check on the health of your crops of land, their growing speed, like stuff like that. but it's kind of annoying to swap to the magnifying glass each time. So you can just upgrade your tools with a magnifying glass, and then it just always displays that on the side. And the only problem I could say with it is that it's got a lot of RNG for the events. So if you're trying to marry someone specific, you better hope the RNG's kind to you, because you need to see all of their events before you can marry them.
Just like
Just
real
like
life.
Fuck
Yeah.
off.
And also the festivals start getting bullshit. There's one that's like catch the biggest fish, and you can catch one that's like 4 foot long, and you're like, yeah, there's no fucking way anyone's gonna beat me. And then the stupid horse guy who's good at fishing caught like a 12-foot tuna or whatever. And it's
Damn,
like,
it sounds like that's on you. Should have caught a bigger fish.
There's always bigger fish in the sea.
Get a bigger
Hunter.
rod.
Got the best rod. But yeah, Brew Factory's good, and Stardew Valley can suck my nuts. Ryan, what's your number one?
Probably will too. Well, Dash thinks he knows it.
It's not Oxenfree, is it?
No.
Okay, like it was. I haven't heard you bring up Oxenfree in your top 10. It's like that can't be his number one, right?
No, it didn't make my top 10. It's pretty close
Okay.
though.
Not a video game.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, then I don't know.
Jason, you've
It
got
was more.
like-
It was just like I kept waiting for Oxenfree to crop up, and it's like no fucking way.
Number one, Oxenfree. No, it's Undertale.
Oh yeah, that makes sense. I
Damn.
guess.
Yeah, it connected a lot with me. And I don't know, there was like a solid like 3 to 6 months after I played it that I was just kind of interacting with Undertale stuff. Like I listened to that soundtrack a fuckload. Played the game, recommended it to everybody I could, just kind of forced it on people. Hunter and I would just play the soundtrack while we were working.
Yeah, we played a lot of Undertale at GameStop.
Ryan
Yeah.
sent it to the Pope.
I sent it
I was trying to not say it.
I sent it to Matt Pat to give to the Pope.
Hey, Matt. No, never mind.
What?
I don't know YouTubers, and I started to say a thing, and then by the end of my thought, but after it had started to make it out of my mouth, realized I was talking about Markiplier.
Yeah, same person.
They are the same thing in my mind, but
No, Matt Pat sent the Pope Undertale. Markiplier got killed by gang violence in LA.
Markiplier took a shit today, and it got like 300,000 likes, and it was like, damn, why can't we pull that number? We do that all the time.
I don't know. It's an indie game that kind of it started this. I don't know if it started it, but it was one of the few indie games that kind of made it into the public consciousness. One of the earlier.
It felt like it was
ones,
the first one in a while.
Yeah, like Cuphead kind of got up there, and then you got like Five Nights at Freddy's. Like indie games kind of seemed like following Undertale started to, kind of peek their way up into the mainstream just on the sheer fact of them being good
Mm-hmm.
or interesting. Undertale's good shit.
Undertale is very good shit.
Is Deltarune good?
It's all
Played
right.
it.
I enjoyed what I played.
I've
I
heard
only
it's
played the
okay.
first chapter. It's not.
I mean,
it's
it's-
definitely not the same, but
It's if it
Right.
does get finished, it's not going to be for a while.
Oh, it's not finished? Oh,
But
okay.
also, he's only going to develop it for 7 years, and then if he's not done, he's just going to abruptly stop.
You know what? I got to say, Toby Fox can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, Toby Fox can literally do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
He could get a job at any studio. He has a fuck ton of money. He can do whatever he wants.
He can play Smash Bros with Sakurai and beat him, and then get driven to this train station by him.
That happened?
Yeah, When,
Sans is
that's-
in
that's
Smash
so
because Toby
cool.
Fox beat Sakurai at Smash.
God.
Sans Undertale.
Toby
Wow.
Fox went down to Georgia to bet his soul on Undertale.
Played synthesizer with the Pope.
That-
Tell us your number one that we all already know.
Yeah, you already fucking know it's near. Like, what?
Near
It's-
what?
Oh, I thought it was far.
Thank
Ah.
you, friends. Thank you. Yeah, Nier is my favorite video game ever made.
That's so
I've
crazy.
I've spoken highly about it.
The game's really good. I see it on a different level. But go ahead, go on.
Again, and it's I don't think that Nier Automata is the best game ever made at all. I think that game has tons of glaring issues. I'm not going to sit here and say it's perfect by any stretch of the imagination.
If you want to hear, the true facts about Nier, there's a whole other podcast.
Yeah,
about
there's
it
10
on this
things we
channel.
hate about Nier, in fact.
Yep.
It's a whole podcast where half the people are cops.
Yeah, the two who like Nier.
Once again, this time though, we're on a podcast where half the people are cops. But it's
Sean's the only
Sean.
cop here tonight.
art is
Oh, look at that stash.
Top of feel, maybe.
art is subjective, and art hits different people different ways. And Nier was, in addition to just being right place, right time, it is, it's my favorite video game. And again, it's like I've spoken so much about it that there's no point in me saying anything else about it. But it is, I think, one of the most important video games ever made, an absolute must play, like it or hate it. It is something that everyone should play if you are serious about this medium.
I agree. Everyone should play a titty game at some point.
It's an ass game. Ass game.
But no, I agree.
I
I
should
think Nier is a game that you should have an opinion about whether you
Yeah, like it's
dislike it or like it.
it is. I definitely think there are things about it that are more challenging to enjoy than others. I think that game can definitely be improved, but it's my favorite. I can't say it's like, it's not perfect in the way Tetris is perfect, but it's perfect for me. And something will come along that I like more than Nier someday. The same way something came along that was better than Dark Souls, the same way that something came along that was better than Metal Gear Solid 3. Same way something came along that was better than Psychonauts. Something will dethrone Nier at some point.
Some might call it the 11th best game of the generation.
I admittedly was holding out a little bit of hope that it was going to be your number one.
No.
Still could be. You might. Maybe.
Yeah, he
This is
wasn't
full of
saying
surprises
he
this
was the one
generation.
who would say that.
Yeah, someone might say it.
Just
And-
someone out there.
It bounced around in my top 10, but the recency bias wore off a little bit. But I still thoroughly enjoyed that game. Now I will say, playing it for the bit definitely made me like it even more.
Mm-hmm.
I still think you should get back into it and hit some of the good side missions.
I might someday.
It's
Yeah, maybe if they
It's on
put
the
some
back.
in.
you can't see, and that's the thing is you can't bring me down. You can't tear me down on it. Like you will never.
I'm not
You
here.
can't.
I'm not here to bring you down. I'm here to get the glare.
He's been glaring at you this whole time.
It's
I
not a
know.
perfect game,
I'm
but
here for it.
gosh darn it, it is my favorite, and I can't wait till something else is my favorite. But
Best
Yeah, me
twin-stick
neither.
shooter I've played.
best twin stick shooter.
Matt, what's your favorite twin stick shooter of the generation?
I know
My
what it is.
favorite, Dash knows what it is.
Some
Does
might call it the
Spark
sixth
Poo?
best game.
Some might call it the best twin stick shooter of the generation, and it's Nuclear Throne.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
That is a
definitely
twin
Nuclear
stick
Throne.
shooter.
I know.
It's a good
I
transition.
Yeah, I was lied
bounced
to.
around between this and Breath of the Wild, honestly. I mean, I played all the way through Breath of the Wild twice. I bought a Wii
Damn.
U late in its life cycle so that I could play Breath of the Wild. And
Why
then
buy a
immediately got rid
Switch?
of it
You
when I
could
was
buy
done.
the Wii U.
And then I got it used.
Wii
It
U's
was like
better.
$60.
Ooh, that's a good deal.
Exactly. I managed to make a profit trading it to GameStop.
Hell yeah, dog.
So if that tells you anything. But I know we talked about it before. I've played Nuclear Throne, give or take, 4,000 times. It is bar none the most time I've
Give-
put into
give
any
all-
game.
You dwarf my time in that game. Like you have like 3 to 4 times as much time in that game as I do, and I play.
I have hundreds of hours in Nuclear Throne.
I really enjoyed. There was like that bit right around. I think it might have been the launch around like the PlayStation time when it launched that we were all kind of playing it around the same time.
Yeah,
That was really
and
fun.
it was, for a while, it was the only game I was playing. It was the only thing that I booted up. It was the only reason I turned on my PlayStation at all.
Yeah, like it
I'm
was
still convinced it's the only game you play.
I mean,
And when it came out on Switch, I definitely thought, like, when I got it on Switch, it was more just like, oh yeah, I would like to have
cool
this
to have
game
it portable.
portable. And then it was like, actually, what if I did it all again?
Yeah, and I mean, I can't say enough good things about it, but in similar fashion to Nier, there's plenty of things that are wrong with it. But I think it's a fantastic game. YV is a cool dude, and the golden splinter gun is the best tool.
It's amazing.
I can't comprehend playing anything that much.
You should try Nuclear Throne then.
Like
It's because it's a roguelike.
It's
Because
and
it's always different.
like I haven't put hundreds of hours into a game that came out in the last 12 years.
but it's the
I've
thing
only done
of
that
like
I've only done that in one game.
you play Nuclear Throne in one would say like 10-minute chunks if you're beating it, but otherwise you're playing Nuclear Throne in like 2-minute chunks.
Yeah.
So
So
it adds up.
saying 4,000 runs sounds pretty extreme, but the number of times that I have died in
Still
the
said hundreds
first
of
3
hours.
levels.
Yeah, it's like
Well, yeah, but
it's like I have like 150 hours into it, and Matt has way more than that.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there's
And
I
I
don't
mean-
think I have 100 hours in any game except for Call of Duty 4.
It is my favorite roguelike. It is
There's-
my favorite
yeah.
game in a genre that I really fucking like.
I may have put 100 hours into Fallout 3.
Try Nuclear Throne. It's super cheap.
yeah,
Try it someday.
It's on
when
Switch.
when it was the only reason I was booting my PlayStation up, I was playing for a couple of hours every single day,
I
Like,
definitely
and
have close to 1,000
and I
hours in Call of Duty 4.
wasn't beating it.
And it's still something that I just like to hop on and do the daily. Like whenever I think about doing the daily, I get on my
I'm gonna
Switch
do-
and I do the daily.
I'm gonna do it as soon as we're done.
Yeah, I'll probably do it also.
Like,
It's going to be
Yeah.
tomorrow by the time we're done. I hope you did today's.
Now refresh.
don't worry, it doesn't reset till 7.
It's way
So-
past that. It's 11:30.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Quick, Sean, what time is it?
just-
9:38.
Oh shit!
Like I say, that's whenever something resets on a daily basis, it should definitely be like 6 in the morning. Absolutely. Like
Absolute.
that's like I think they did it right with that.
Just Nuclear Throne is. I like me some. I think Spelunky is like a better crafted game, but it ain't Nuclear Throne, and it doesn't hit me the way
Yeah.
Nuclear Throne hits me.
Also,
Pulunky.
Sean, it resets at 7 p.m.
Oh,
So
I thought I was giving them a compliment, but never mind.
You were
It's
trying.
actually worse.
Yeah, it was a bad time.
But yeah, I mean, I could do a whole podcast about Nuclear Throne.
I could talk Nuclear
all
Throne forever.
all the ins and the outs and the ways that
How much is it?
Like 10 or
What?
$15 here. I'll look it up.
That's a lot.
but the way
Yeah,
that
get it
all
on
the-
sale.
I've already-
all the
I've already
abilities
blindly bought
can
another
interact.
for roughly that much this week.
I'm looking it up right now.
like the fact that you can get, if you can manage to
God
get
damn it!
a
I
certain
hate.
power
Why
up,
does every fucking storefront do this?
Yes, let's
What?
podcast dash looking at the storefront.
No, if you
Six guys
own
on a
a game,
computer.
it doesn't tell you how much it fucking costs.
oh my
Yeah,
god,
that's really frustrating.
Everyone except Microsoft fucking does this. Hate it. So I've got to sign out of the fucking eShop now.
Go incognito.
Yeah, that's what I should have done, but that's not what I did. It is $13.99
That's a
on
lot.
which platform?
Switch.
A lot of money for
It's
a game.
probably
with
the
poop in its
it's
name.
probably the same on PlayStation. I have to imagine.
It is $11.99 on PlayStation.
Fucking
Wow,
annoying, 'cause I would
shut me the
definitely-
fuck up.
I would definitely
Um,
buy it on Switch though.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
I
what
Correct.
Switch
I
is
don't
our main
blame you for
platform, and
that.
that's what we leaderboard chase on.
Seems like the correct place to own a game like that.
It's
Yeah, it
it's
is.
so
It's good for pooping.
And
Like,
I mean,
yeah,
the fact that you
it's an
can,
airplane game.
it is big time. The fact that you can get a power up in the first 3 levels and then not have to use any ammo on the first boss at all, I think it's just really neat. And
Like,
it's an ability that Dash, up until
I
I
hate
showed
that
him
shit.
that,
I still
stood
hate that
thir-
shit.
Well, I mean, okay, that's fine.
I still
but,
fucking hate it.
Like, it, I think it's fucking great.
I like that Matt and I have completely different play styles in that game, and I
It's
think that's
completely
really
different.
dope as hell. Like
Which is probably why it took me so fucking long to get all the way to the end, realistically, but it works for me.
yeah, it's like
It works
whatever.
now. But
Jason, what's your number
Jason, what
one?
works for you now?
Tell us
what's
about
your
Crawl.
Nuclear Throne?
I feel like at this point nobody will be surprised by my number one. It's a game we've already talked about. I think this game is definitely close to perfect. It's not necessarily a game I want to replay, but it is a game where when I think about replaying it, it doesn't have a single part where I think, I don't want to do that part again, so I'm just not going to replay the game. Because I have that thought with a lot of things. Like, there's always, like, one chunk of a game where I'm like, that was kind of a slog. That little part is going to keep me from replaying any part of this game again.
There's just sometimes in the game where it goes bing, and it's just great.
For when it goes Google.
But yeah, it's Super Mario Odyssey. This is a game where I think I might have personally enjoyed Control a tiny bit more, but I think Odyssey is definitely the better game.
Objectively?
Yeah, I would say it is objectively.
I also almost would maybe have a tough time. Like, that game's very close to perfect.
Like
Control doesn't have any nipples in it.
That's true. Spider-Man for PS4 does, though.
Exactly.
Yeah,
that's why it's better than Control.
I pretty much don't replay games, and I don't know if I'll ever play Mario Odyssey again. But if I'm going to replay a game, it's very high on the list. I don't have the same childhood connection to Mario games as some of you. I've played a number of them, but I haven't destroyed the first Super Mario a billion times. I've maybe played it once. I've definitely never beaten it. But
it's dog shit.
The first video game I ever touched was Mario 64. And so 3D Mario games are my nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I will very quickly admit that Mario 64 has sections that I don't want to touch. Anything underwater in that game is horrible garbage.
Yeah.
Wet Dry World's the worst.
But I can't think of I can't think of a single part of Odyssey that I wouldn't happily pick up and replay again.
I think the main thing about the thing that would have to knock Odyssey on is it's so much of it is the first playthrough and the discovery, the unknown, and
I haven't 100%ed it by any means. I definitely have plenty of content left, but I finished it at the lowest level of finishing it.
I gotta say, I hundoed it, and
it's
I'm
a fantastic hundo. It's a fantastic hundo. Because they just lock half the game behind beating it. I love that game, and
I still want to play it.
That was a game that was okay, I'll play it for a couple hours on the TV.
You can borrow my copyright.
It's time to go to bed. I'm gonna take the Switch out of the dock and go play it for another hour laying in bed.
I think
that's how I played that game.
They do in Luigi's Mansion 2, wanting to make the game good to drop and then pick up and play later. And I think Mario Odyssey executes on the idea so much better while still making it a really fun long session thing. Of just they make it so you're just constantly getting doing anything anywhere gets you something.
Going away from 120 was a great idea. Absolutely.
Yeah. It is cool how much shit is in that game, and how just you can just kind of explore the level, and then by the time you're about done exploring it, you'll have enough to move on.
Yeah.
Speaking of moving on,
yeah, I will say,
Sean, what's your number one?
Odyssey was the best game
to Sean.
Odyssey was the best game that I didn't connect with emotionally, but it's obvious what my
honestly,
choice was.
That's why Sean's
I'm
so
sad
quiet.
I didn't do this also.
That's why he's so
Is
quiet.
it Doom?
It's Doom. No,
It's Doom.
The thing that makes me sad thinking about this game is that I don't think there's anything that could possibly capture. It's wholly one of a kind. The things that come similar to it, but detective games, I would think would maybe be the closest, but
Nothing's quite like Oberdin.
Integrate it's a perfect integration of discovering the story and discovering and playing the game at the same time. It's perfect mesh of story and gameplay. It's wholly unique. As with the other two of my top three, I wish I could forget it and go back to it, which is kind of a bummer about all three of my top ones. I don't think I'm going to be able to replay them.
That one specifically, like, I mean, even like when you figure out, like, it's like no matter how many times, I'm always going to know who's from Papua New Guinea, no matter what. Like, I'm never going to be able to forget that.
I'll always know.
I'm always going to know
where
the
boat
trick.
went.
I'm gonna know the tricks for finding a lot of the people. Like, it's.
But this is the first time I've like played a game and then just like gone around telling people who, none of them wanted to hear about it, but just like people who were not interested at all, being like, so let me tell you about this thing I've been playing. It instills a vibe in a way that I love. It tells a story, even if it's a pretty like, it's a disaster at sea story. It's.
I think it's cool though. Like
characters.
I think it's a ridiculously good one of those though.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's not something like there's only like. Actually, it doesn't even do a good job of like. There's 3 characters that I feel like you end up getting to know them in a way, because you have to study every single like little interaction a person has. You have to follow them through every single time they show up. You get to know even these people that like barely have like. I feel like I get the illustrator, even though you see him like
he has a noble death.
Highly recommend Return to the Obra Dinn for everyone. Don't cheese it. Don't be Dash. You'll regret it.
Please don't. God, you'll regret it so much. I just like any time my credibility is supported.
It's incredible.
I'm glad I got to pay for it for Dash to experience it.
I would have bought it. Like, I would have easily bought it. I just didn't have to.
Hunter, what would you have gladly paid for?
Take us home, and we can talk about it some more.
I mean, it's near, but I originally had Rune Factory as my number 1, but I felt like I shouldn't have a remaster as number 1, just cause.
You didn't have to say that. None of us would have ever known.
Yeah.
I suspected.
Lord knows I didn't. But you're right.
We've talked about Nier enough. I'm looking.
No, we haven't.
No, I agree with Hunter.
I'm looking forward to the remaster, remake, whatever the fuck of 1.
Redo.
I like 1.
And I'm looking forward to whatever Yoko Taro does after that.
Drakengard 4.
I'm following
to the ends of the earth at this point.
Drakengard 5, The Search for 4.
Yeah,
You're teaming up with Jackbox.
I'm looking forward to that new Nier 1 with the changes and kind of tune-ups as they're doing on it.
It's in April.
Well, I did not know that Drakengard is called Dragon Dragoon in Japan.
Yeah.
Dragoon these balls.
Dragging this guard across your face.
Drakengard 1 is the worst game I'll ever recommend to somebody.
I have rented Drakengard 1 from Blockbuster, and I hated it.
Yeah, but that's part of the experience.
They're challenging you to enjoy it.
Wow, it has not good scores.
Yeah.
Bad game.
Drakengard is always plagued with awful things. Drakengard 3 at some points dips down into single-digit FPS.
And that is a PS3 game.
Above 5.
So really no excuse. Yeah, that's going to do it for our games of the generation discussion. What an enjoyable time this has been.
As usual.
Yeah, this turned out a lot better than I was expecting, actually. I look forward to our upcoming Game of the Year discussion, which we'll figure out when that's happening. But
once the year's over,
we're going to get back to the normal Let's Play thing for a little bit before getting into that. And we're going to go ahead and call it there, I think. So I hope your outlooks are positive and your tests are negative.